From the very beginning, bow hunting has been etched deep into our DNA. We know what it means to have the fire of archery burning inside. We know the heart-pounding anticipation of waiting for that monster buck. We share the breathtaking excitement when we hear elk bugles in the mountains. We're a band of brothers and sisters who share the passion. Just like you, it drives us. We're born to bow hunt. Illinois has got to be the best state to kill monster whitetail, man.
That's going to be hard to argue with, but you know there's a whole lot more people hunt Illinois. They get a lot of pressure, so you're going to get a lot of big bucks come out of Illinois. I like Kansas. I mean, Kansas has produced year after year some of the biggest bucks in the country.
That's so true, man. They have the genetics and they have the food source there, and they grow monster bucks. And last week, Heath Painter shot a monster buck out of Kansas, and this week we're back in Kansas again.
Whitetail deer hunting is exciting and extremely challenging. This is a sport that is loved by many hunters across this great country. Hunters that take on the challenge with rifles, muzzleloaders, and even archery equipment. Professional whitetail guide and outfitter David Henning of KansasMonsters.net knows whitetails and where the big boys hang out. David has put in his time, hours of scouting, locating active funnels, and perfect tree stand placement. This puts David's hunters into the action. This week, Eric McCowan, Heath Painter, and Chris Halsey are still in pursuit of their bucks. Eric and Heath found a honey hole with a heavy rack 13-point walking within range of a ground blind. Let's see which one of our guys gets lucky and puts a tag on this big buck. Chris Halsey has been on the bucks too. He's in the stand and has action. Let's join in on his hunt. With his stand placement over a food plot, Chris has deer all around him. He's been seeing good bucks every time he's in the stand. Early November in Kansas Deerwood says one thing: the bucks will be roaming and into pre-rut, looking for does and hoping to find Mrs. Right. Grunting and chasing can be heard echoing throughout the fall woods. Chris's arrow hits its mark. We'll join back in with Chris and his Kansas buck recovery right after the break. Stick around.
Blood.
Before the break, Chris Halsey shot a good whitetail out in Kansas with David Henning's Kansas Monsters. Let's join back in with Chris.
All right. Yeah, we was a little low, but we were right in there. He was quartering away. All right. Woo! Man.
The challenge of bow hunting whitetail deer comes in many forms. First and foremost, the challenge of archery equipment will test your skills. Being deadly accurate takes a lot of time and practice. A bow hunter will need to become efficient with the equipment he or she chooses. Luckily for bow hunters today, archery equipment has become very easy to shoot. But still, a bow is definitely a close-range weapon. And that leads to the second challenge of bow hunting whitetails. A hunter must get close to be efficient with the bow. Leading archers can easily and repeatedly put arrows within a pie plate at over 100 yards. But when one shoots at a moving animal, and the animal with quick reflexes, you better limit your shots to 40 yards and in. Eric McCowan knows archery and is very efficient with his bow. Practice makes perfect with Eric. He loves to shoot. And Eric is fired up and ready to hit the woods, the Kansas whitetail woods.
When Heath asked me if I wanted to go to Kansas with him, I was excited. Kansas grows some great bucks. To have a chance, an opportunity to go hunt them big bucks, I was really excited. When I got out here, it was everything I hoped it would be. Thousands of acres of CRP, these gnarly, rank-looking locust groves with hedge trees, the big cottonwoods. It was just, it had everything you wanted. It had everything for big bucks. It had tons of cover. It had food sources with the wheat fields they got out here and the milo fields. And it was everything I hoped Kansas would be. It has everything it takes to grow big deer. As a bow hunter, one of the first things you look for is thick cover for these bucks to grow and get mature in. The second thing you're looking for is great food sources near the thick cover so you can set up on these deer. Folks, get down here to this blind. The wind's perfect. We got these wheat fields, these strips of wheat out here interlaced with this CRP. We got a huge bedding area to our left here. The does are coming out to feed on the wheat. The bucks are going to be following. There's our blind. There's deer sign everywhere out here. They're all over these wheat fields. There's scrapes all along the edge. But the main thing we're keying in on is there's does coming out here to feed. And the bucks are going to be following. There's deer tracks everywhere out here. Plan is to get settled in on the blind, settle down, and Mr. Big's going to come pay us a visit. That's the game plan. These deer out here in Kansas are sticking close to the thick cover. And the areas you need to key in on are the little travel corridors and the pinch points where they're coming out of this thick cover, heading to the feeding areas. The best way to hunt these bucks during the rut is to key in on the food sources that the does are hitting, because that's where the bucks are going to be cruising, where they're going to be looking for does, checking the does to see when they're going to be coming in. We was hearing grunting and we was hearing deer around us. And that's when Heath said, big buck, here he comes. My heart starts pounding, I start getting excited. I grab my bow, I start getting set up. And as the deer's coming in, I'm trying to pick my spot where I'm gonna shoot this deer. He comes in, he gets broadside, slightly quartered, perfect shot. I come to full draw, and as my pin settles, I glance down, and we don't have the blind set up right. My arrow is going to hit the blind. Oh, my heart sunk. I let down. I try to resituate. I redraw. Settle the pin on the deer. Same thing. My arrow is going to hit the blind. He's hollering, shoot, shoot. Like, man, I can't. I let down, we resituate. I draw back again, I get leaned over, and I do not feel comfortable with the shot. This deer's at 40 yards. I'm excited, I'm in a blind. Things aren't the way they're supposed to be, so I opt to let down and let the deer walk rather than take a bad shot. You know, my heart sank, but we didn't spook it. He didn't have a clue he was there. And I thought, tomorrow night, we'll reset up, Heath's turn to hunt, this buck will be back.
Take your deer hunting to the next level. The Arrow Hunter tree saddle from New Tribe delivers mobility, comfort, and above all, the safety that today's hunters demand. The mobility to move around the tree and be ready when game approaches from any direction. The comfort to hunt all day. And the safety to be sure you cannot fall out of a tree if used correctly. Lightweight, versatile, and made in America. The Arrow Hunter tree saddle from New Tribe. Find out more at arrowhunter.us.
When bow hunting whitetail bucks, timing is everything. Being at the right place at the right time will give you the opportunities you've been dreaming of. But that's the challenge. Figuring out when and where the big boy is going to be there. Tactics and planning are a must.
Trail cameras are one of our most important assets, especially as an outfitter. We use them for scouting year-round, and that's so that we know the quality of deer that are on our ground or our properties, and so that when the hunters come in, you know, we can show them exactly what bucks should be taken or what bucks, you know, we think that a hunter should leave for years to come, you know, for breeding purposes or things like that. So trail cameras to me are one of the most important scouting and deer management tools that a person can have. put out some buckeye cameras early in the fall in order to capture these bucks that these guys be hunting. We've got great photos of dozens of good shooter bucks, and we got some great photos of the bucks these guys are hunting. So when they come into camp, you know, it's nice to sit down and show them these pictures, and it gets them all pumped up. And then if they do end up taking a deer, that's another great thing, is that you've got a picture of the live animal on the hoof, and it's always a great feeling and a great sense of accomplishment that you can sit down there and you can say, you know, this deer was alive 2 days ago, now he's not.
Man, there was tracks everywhere, all around the blind. Last night, Eric McCowan had a nice buck out there at 40 yards. This blind, before we left last night, we had to scoot it around a little bit, and we had to drop some of the windows. Eric just could not get a shot. He didn't feel comfortable making the shot. And I tell you what, hats off to him. But I'm gonna get in the blind, get blackened up, and hopefully tonight is going to be the night. We got set up in this ground blind. We got everything situated. The night before, Eric McCowan was in the same blind. He had a nice buck come through. We had another big buck that we couldn't get on camera, chasing. I felt real confident about this area. Eric had a problem with the blind. He wasn't able to get a good shot off where he felt comfortable that he wasn't gonna hit the blind when he shot. We resituated the blind. We got everything taken care of to make sure that if a buck came in on me, that I was gonna be able to make the shot. That right there is the key. Know your equipment first and foremost, and then take the time to make things right. So at that moment of truth, you'll be able to make the shot. That's what it's all about. Take the time, watch what you're doing, pay attention to detail. That right there will make you a successful bow hunter. I'm sitting in the blind, and we've got a little buck, kind of spooks off a little bit. And next thing you know, I start seeing these little heads start popping through. We had a flock of turkeys, a flock of hens come in, and I tell you what, that was so cool because they got so close to the blind. I love being able to watch game, whether it's whitetails, turkeys, squirrels, you name it. Being out there, being able to see everything that's out there taking place in its natural environment, that is what bow hunting is about. That's why I'm a hunter. That's why I'm a sportsman. I love being out there, and I love being able to experience those sights and sounds of wildlife. I love it. That's what I live for. We're probably sitting there maybe an hour and a half. Next thing you know, I hear grunting. I see deer movement. We've got a little buck out in front of us. And I tell Eric, I say, Eric, big buck's coming in. This deer is coming in, massive. He's got the points, he's got the tines we're looking for. I'm getting pumped, I'm getting excited.
We'll be back with more whitetail action right after the break.
Hey, it's bow fishing season, and here at Tribe Archery, we're pumped about getting into the action. Don't have a bow fishing bow? We've got you covered with the Triton Pro. We also have bow fishing kits, bows, strings, arrows, and reels. We've got everything you need to get into extreme bow fishing action. Right here at Tribe Archery. Buckle up and dive in. I'm Heath Painter. Shoot straight and be safe. We'll see you out on the waters.
Before the break, show host Heath Painter had a heavy-racked Kansas buck out in front of his ground blind. Outfitter David Henning named this deer Kickers. The deer has points going everywhere.
I got some trail camera pictures probably from the beginning of August of this buck, and we nicknamed him Stickers. It's not a real old deer, but he's got great mass and great points. We've been tracking him all fall, and I hope that one of these guys has the privilege to see him or take him. He's a great buck, just points everywhere. I think the last time we counted it was a 9x4, so that is an excellent buck.
We're probably sitting there maybe an hour and a half. Next thing you know, I hear grunting. I see deer movement. We've got a little buck out in front of us. and I tell Eric, I said, Eric, big buck's coming in. This deer is coming in, massive. He's got the points, he's got the tines we're looking for. I'm getting pumped, I'm getting excited. One of the problems, like I said, when you're filming out of a ground blind is there's always something in the way. You've got choices, you've got options. You can either move or stay still and hopefully not spook any game. And that's exactly what we did. We didn't move, we knew this deer was gonna come out in front of us, so we just waited. This buck kicked his head back and started a licking branch. And I tell you what, I was excited. That was so cool to watch. This deer stepped in, I hit him with the rangefinder. I knew how far he was. I drew back my bow. And I tell you what, I was a nervous wreck. The only thing I could think about was take your time, put your pin on there, let it settle in, and make a good shot. Right there he is. Oh gosh, Eric, we did it, baby. We did it, baby. Oh man, that is a big buck.
That's a pig.
Oh, that is a giant buck right there. Oh my gosh, right there at 40 yards. I heard him grunting coming in. I ranged him at 40 yards. He came in. That little buck came in right before him. It's getting late. I thought, man, we're not gonna see any action. We were in here last night and Eric McCowan had a good buck come in called Stickers. He really couldn't get a good shot on him, so he passed him. We come back in here tonight. It was my turn to hunt. Holy cow, baby. Folks, that is an exciting hunt. Unbelievable. Unbelievable right there. I'm gonna give him a few minutes. I'm gonna calm down. I'm gonna get on my cell phone and start texting, baby. Oh.
He texted me that he shot Stickers, and my face lit up. You know, I was happy. You know, getting an opportunity, especially after a close call with a buck like that, getting a second opportunity is not, you know, it's not common.
That did not take long. Look at that.
When Heath texted me and told me that he had finally killed Stickers, the buck that we'd been watching all fall long, I was tickled, and I couldn't wait to see it on the ground and in my hands.
Oh my gosh, see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, a 12-pointer out here in Kansas. Look at that buck. Wow, unbelievable. Folks, this week has been up and down. The wind has been howling for the last week, but finally we got cold weather, the wind stopped, and look, the buck started roaming out here in Kansas. We're just north of Wichita, and I tell you what, this area is saturated full of big bucks. Hey, it's bow fishing season, and here at Tribe Archery, we're pumped about getting into the action. Don't have a bow fishing bow? We've got you covered with the Triton Pro. We also have bow fishing kits, bows, strings, arrows, and reels. We've got everything you need to get into extreme bow fishing action. Right here at Tribe Archery. Buckle up and dive in. I'm Heath Painter. Shoot straight and be safe. We'll see you out on the waters.